Hey yo, it's Denzel Curry, and you're now watching this interview with BlackySpeakz, bitch.
Now, I had the chance to sit down with Denzel Curry for an interview while he was on tour, and the interview went surprisingly well since it is my first time actually interviewing an artist. But I am personally a fan of Denzel Curry and I am genuinely interested in what he has to say, so having this interview with him was quite easy. Denzel really opens up and gives a lot of life advice to people out there who might need it. He goes deep into his mentality about different things regarding life. He also talks about his thoughts surrounding what motivates him to make music, and he also touched upon the topic of my video that I made about him back in August titled "Why is Hip Hop Sleeping on Denzel Curry?" So if you have seen that video, you're definitely gonna like what he has to say about that in this interview. And he also talks a lot about the struggles and the challenges he had to face and the changes he had to make in his life throughout the past year. Really interesting interview, and if you are a fan and actually care about Denzel, then this interview right here is a gold mine. It's a little long, so make sure to get some snacks, kick back, and I'll catch you at the end of this video. Peace. So Denzel, man,
What's happening?
You got the craziest energy on stage. How do you keep that energy up there?
I work out and I do martial arts every day, and I don't drink and I don't smoke.
I saw that you drink smoothies too, right?
Hell yeah, I was doing smoothies.
That's crazy, man. So, bro, I wanted to ask you about Taboo, your upcoming album.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about, you talked about how 13 was the transition
Bridge.
between Imperial and Taboo, right?
Yeah.
What did you learn between that process of going from 13 to Taboo? Was there anything you learned?
Nah, it was really just the reason why I made that bridge in the first place, because you have Imperial. Imperial has a sound that it has a sound already, and people think I'm gonna do that sound for the next album, and I never do the same sound on each thing. Even with my EPs, it's not the same sound. I don't want my music to feel like that, like I'm just giving you the same thing over and over and over and over again.
You really switch it up.
Yeah.
You do that purposely?
I do it on purpose because it helps me get better at what I'm doing. Also, it keeps my fans intrigued and help me gain new ones at the same time. So that's why I don't do the same thing for my albums. Nostalgic doesn't sound nothing like 32Zell Planet Shrooms. 32Zell Planet Shrooms may be a failure, but it wasn't at the same time because it still did what it did. And then Imperial came behind it right after, and it was just whoa, this was a totally different vibe from this one. So it showed the growth and the progression. Then I had to make another bridge, which was 13. When people think I failed at that one, which is going to later on bite them in the ass and be like, oh, this shit was actually hard. They just didn't give it a chance because it was too different. That's when I come with Taboo, and that shit doesn't sound like nostalgic, and it doesn't sound like Imperial.
Because I know that you've been talking about how the past year you've been really learning a lot about yourself and challenges you've had in life. So I wanted to ask you the content. Did it really resonate with you as you were recording it?
Yeah, at first, when I first started working on Taboo,
Yeah.
When I was working on the pre stuff, it was super lyrical. It was very lyrical shit. And then it got over, and then I started to get lost in what it was going to be about because I started overthinking how the project was going to be. And then when it came down to the final recordings of it, I started to get to the recordings that I wanted to do, with certain tracks I was doing, which is in the gray area of the album, which is me actually touching on the topics that I was talking about this whole time. And in the beginning of the album, I was I touched on certain topics, but I didn't go into depth. In the gray part, I went into depth. And in the black part, I'm going to really go into depth. It goes in three ways. It's the white part, gray part, and the black part is the deepest part that you could go into. Usually if you hear my albums is it starts off really dark and then it goes into a white part. It's Imperial. It starts off really dark, then it goes into a white
slowly
part.
fading in, right?
Yeah, but this one is going to be in reverse. It's going to start off light and then it just goes completely black.
What was the intention behind doing that?
Because it just shows you usually they be yeah, it's a happy ending. No, I don't want it to be a happy ending this time.
How come? Is there a specific message you're trying to convey?
Because everybody goes through dark shit. It's watching, look at it like this in a Star Wars perspective. If you watch the first original Star Wars, before the prequels, you seen like it was light, then it got dark, then it went light again. But Luke also went dark. It was supposed to be the darkest one,
Yeah.
which is the third one, but he didn't go to the dark side, so he won. And then you watch the prequels, it starts off light, then it goes dark, and then it goes even darker because he turns into Darth Vader. That's
Do you feel like you want that kind of impact to like stay with the listener, like your fans?
Yeah.
Because it goes from
I want them to really like know me as who I am.
Yeah.
And I want the listener to know that they're not alone.
Okay. But is there like a positive underlying message that you feel like everyone
Definitely.
can take from?
All my albums have a positive underlying message.
Yeah, basically how you interpret it, right?
Yeah.
So
like imagine my albums as like stories of my life. And the EPs are just like the mini episodes of my life.
Oh, okay. I see. So what do you think this new project, Taboo, what do you think that it's going to do for the hip-hop culture, so to speak?
Not just going to be for the hip-hop culture. Let me just get that straight. Okay. It's definitely going to have some lyrical content on there that's like good for like the hip-hop culture to let them know that I still do this type of stuff. But also I'm touching on like really like there's going to be poetry on there. There's definitely going to be some melodic shit on there. There's definitely going to be some stuff that's just simple. And then there's going to be stuff that's introspective. And, like, of course you're going to get some hype stuff. But it's not, the whole thing won't be like Imperial, because Imperial was just straight hype. But I was letting out all my emotions. Not even nostalgic was all hype. It had, like, at certain points of storytelling, hypeness. And then you had, like, the stuff that I wasn't good at, like, certain, like, love songs. I wasn't even good at that shit at the time. But most of that stuff I got good at over time because I started experiencing and going through deeper stuff. And me self-reflecting on my past, I have to like say that just so people won't feel like they'll have to end it the next day.
I see. I mean, it's kind of really like inspirational because like looking at you, I feel like you're such a regular guy. Like I even relate to you so much because I feel like I kind of see myself in you, and that's why I'm such a big fan of you and what you do. Like the positivity that like really comes out of you as a person. So that's what I really like about you. And I wanted to ask you also about one of your biggest passions is drawing also, right?
Yeah.
Like you talk about drawing, like that's interesting because the typical thing about rappers is like, oh, rappers don't do like this, they don't do that, right?
Right.
Like they only like rap.
Like nobody knew I could draw until I started drawing. And if you look at, Nostalgia 64,
Yeah.
that cover,
Yeah.
I drew that cover. I also worked on a 320 Planet Shrooms cover with me and my homie Astro. Yeah. We both worked on that one together. And the Imperial cover, I drew that cover before I even like took that picture. Like I already knew in my head what I wanted the Imperial cover to look like.
I feel like the music kind of helped you shape that image?
No, the music definitely. The music tells the story of what it's gonna be. Okay. And then in my head, before I even make the cover, like when I start making the first initial music, I'll be like, yo, I want my cover to be like this. And then when the music gets done, worked, a new imagery comes in my head, and I'll be like, okay, this has to be the cover instead of this.
A really big question I always have is kind of like, I wonder, why do you think people actually get attracted to your music? What do you think your fans support you, as Denzel Curry?
They support me because, like, first of all, my music is, like, really crazy. It sounds really crazy. It sounds like punk music, but it's not. Second of all, once you hear it, like, a couple times, 3 or 4 times, you realize I have bars in it. And then when you listen like 4 or 5 times, you realize those bars connect to a message. And then when you realize what the message and what I'm talking about, you'll be like, damn, I'm sold.
One of my favorite moments of Denzel Curry's career is This Life.
That's feel like one of mine too. I
feel like you open up so much. Like you were literally like speaking to me on that song. Like you were opening up so much. And is that something you feel like is going to be a part of your career in the future? Because as you get bigger and bigger, maybe the sound is going to change. Or are you going to try to like incorporate that kind of sound too?
No, my main focus is being as real as possible. Whether it's with the earth, whether it's with myself, whether it's with my fans, whether it's with anything. Like, that's my main focus, is being real as possible, because I'm just like everybody else. I got flaws too. Why I think I went through so much stuff for me, like, to change. Not even a change, just to be a better human, because I feel like back in 2016, I felt like I wasn't a fuck boy, but I felt like one. You know what I'm saying? Cause like the stuff I was around, that I surrounded myself, the energy, like fucking hoes every day, like smoking weed, like, you know what I'm saying? Like just not feeling like I'm a genuine person to a T, but it just felt like I was turning into somebody that I didn't want to become. Like even dyeing my hair, even losing myself, even like, you know what I'm saying? Because I was going through so much stuff at that time, and I felt like I couldn't have fun with anything, and I didn't want to do anything anymore. And like watching people get bigger, and like just letting my emotions get the better of me than my actual like logic. You know what I'm saying? Like not talking to people, just feeling like I can't do certain things. Like, and once I hit 22. I was like, okay, this is the duality stage of my life, because it's a double digit number. It's like, it's 2 and 2. By you hit 23, you going to end up the person that you never wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like at 22, I had to find who I was before I hit 23, because as soon as I hit 23, I'm going to stay that person for the rest of my life until I make a realization. And I don't want to make that realization later on. I want to make that realization now. So that's why that's why I had to change from 21-year-old Denzel, because 20-year-old Denzel made a whole bunch of mistakes. 21-year-old Denzel didn't make that much mistakes. 22-year-old Denzel didn't make any kind of mistake at all. Couple mishaps here and there, but they wasn't major mistakes. And soon as I hit 23, I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm not going to make as much mistakes as 22-year-old Denzel. So my mistakes are going to go less, and less. By the time I hit 30, I won't make any. I'll just be not perfect, but like on a straight and narrow, like nothing really could. Exactly. Yeah. That's why I had to stop doing certain things. Like I was smoking weed to a point I was getting paranoid, and I always think about the past, and I always get depressed by like think about my past self and think about why I can't do this, why I'm not good enough, thinking I'm not good enough, thinking nobody cares about me, thinking like even the whole sleeping thing that you was talking about, like people sleeping on me. Like that was one thing I really like felt inside, that like I was like, man, I'm not gonna make it. Like,
Do you feel like you wanted to let that anger out?
I wanted to let it out, but I got tired of being angry at the same time. I really got tired of being angry. Like, cause Imperial, definitely, I was mad as fuck. And you could tell from ULT, from Gook, I was mad as shit at that time period. Cause I broke up, me and my girl wasn't together. I slightly went crazy, causing me to draw all this type of stuff around my room. I was surrounding myself with dark energy. And even though I wasn't a dark person, I was surrounded by dark energy, like that not giving a fuck shit. I literally did not give a fuck about nothing. I didn't give a shit. Like, you could ask my manager, I didn't give a fuck. Like, no fucks, none. I didn't give a fuck if I got burnt by an STD. I didn't give a shit about anything, dog. I didn't care. I just wanted to, like, just live my life. I didn't give a fuck about hoes. I didn't give a fuck about me. There would be girls that genuinely liked me because of me, and I ended up fucking their life up. And I'm just like, I'm a fuck nigga. I was turning into a fuck nigga. And then 22, I was like, I can't be this person. I really can't be that person. And even I had mishaps with my family, like me and my brother going at it, and then like my mom worried about me, like I can't see my dad as much. I don't even get to see my niece, and like realizing like who's your friend and who's not your friend. It was like a whole fucked up situation I was in, especially like when it came down to love and my emotions and shit. And that's when I started watching Star Wars Theory a lot. Like now I watch Star Wars Theory because like the whole thing about like the whole being dark and shit is caused by your emotions, and being light is like knowing how to use them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you gotta find yourself in the middle. And then being at this duality stage, I gotta realize like, okay, 21 years old channeled nothing but dark shit. 20-year-old Denzel was trying to be light as fuck, just the lightest you could ever be. But people were so used to me expressing my darkness because they have a little bit of darkness in them. So I had to find something in the middle where I could be able to be the person that I always wanted to be. Because I'm not a dark person. I've never been a dark, well, I ain't gonna say I've never been a dark person, but like, I'm not as dark as people would expect me to be. Like, my mom raised me to be a good person. My father raised me to be a good person. Regardless of what the fuck they was going through, they raised me to be a good person. And they showed me how to utilize my darkness. Even with Perp, showed me how to utilize my anger. Even when I had to use it against him, I utilized my anger. Like, my manager helped me control my emotions because he's an emotional person. I'm a sensitive person, and I always will push it off like I'm not. I'm not an emotional person. I'm not sensitive, but I'm the most sensitive motherfucker you could ever be. And that, I always felt like being sensitive was like a disadvantage, and being sensitive isn't a disadvantage. Matter of fact, that's one of the biggest advantages I got, because I watched how sensitivity ended up winning in the whole long run. Drake wins because he's fucking sensitive. Like, motherfucking Kendrick wins because he's sensitive. Like, if you're a sensitive being and you know how to, like, project your sensitivity in a way it doesn't look like you're a baby, then you win. You win at what you do. And, like, sensitivity is, like, helps you with being intuitive as well. Like, if you hear, like, shit like motherfuckers is forcing, like, sensitive, like energy sensitive. Like, if you energy sensitive, that means you can feel it right there. And, like, me being sensitive to my feelings, and I can feel it, and I put it right on the paper, then everybody gets to feel how sensitive I am.
Yo, that's a lot of shit, man, to deal with, you know. And what would you say to someone who's been in that kind of position? They're stuck in life. They're not doing what they love. They're not inspired. They're depressed. What would you tell them to?
Right.
What best
I would just say write as much as possible. Even if it's not, it doesn't have to be rhymes. It doesn't have to be anything. You just write how you feel. Write as much shit as possible. Get as much shit off your chest, because, like, you could age that way. You could die that way. You could get cancer that way. Write as much shit as possible. And then once you look back at it, you won't feel those feelings like that anymore. The more you keep writing, and the more you write your progress every day. And that's what I do on a daily. Try to figure out how to be the best me possible. Right now, I'm trying to stop, like, fucking watching porn and shit. Like, and that's, like, a real hard thing to do. Like, I like porn, you feel me? But that's, like, a vice that I don't want. Like, I quit 2 of my vices. Like, if I could quit 2 of my vices and pick up something productive, then I could win. Like, I picked up martial arts, and I love that shit. Like, I went back in the drawing. I like doing that shit. But porn is just, like, one vice that I'm just like, look, I can't be doing this shit, because it's going to make me think about women in a way that I don't want to think about them as is an object. I don't like thinking about women in that way. I think about them carry on my seed so the future could be brighter. You feel me? Like, I don't think about them as, like, a tool or a sex thing. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that relatability in you is really, like, helping you relate to other people? Like, in the way you make your music, it's so authentic, it's so real, I connect to it so easy, and a lot of other people do. Do you think that it's like a advantage you have in the industry?
Yeah, because everybody want to make this turn up shit, but I don't got a problem with the turn up shit, but you just need a balance. And that goes with everybody, man. Like, you need a balance for everything. I'm pro balance. Like, I could listen to Uzi one day, like, and be like, yeah, nigga, turn the fuck up, nigga, sauce it up. But, like, I could listen to Kendrick another day and be like, this what God feel like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like both sides, and I find a middle ground. Like, I always try to find a middle ground. Even with my albums, I always try to find a middle ground. And I feel like the only one that didn't really have a middle ground was Imperial.
I just want to ask you, what does it mean to you, like, mental health?
Mental health is, like, what it means to me is, like, one of the most important things, man. Like, you need your mind at some point. You can't listen to your mind all the time. You just got to go off feeling and instinct. But you need that mental health, because you could go crazy. Like, if this person wants something from you, this person wants something from you, and you don't have that time to relax. You need to just kick back and just vibe, because, like, and have fun. Like, be happy. Be happy with what you're doing. Just reflect. Like, don't reflect on your past, because that's going to make you depressed. Don't worry about your future, because it's going to bring anxiety. And I learned that from this girl named Indy. And, like, being in the now is the main thing. You just got to worry about what's happening now. Like how this interview is going right now. I'm just thinking about this shit right now. You asked me what I was thinking about right now, and that's what it is. And, like, that's what fuels me every day. Like, tomorrow's not promised, man. Like, there's as far as I'm concerned, that shit don't exist yet.
I feel like you're the type of person who really indulges yourself in the process of writing, recording. How does that really like help you get in the zone and really say the words you want to say?
Sometimes it doesn't even come to me like that. One day I could just be doing some shit, and then I could just think of one line, and one line leads to another. I think about the beat in my head first. Sometimes I write without no pad. Sometimes I just freestyle the shit, and it just comes out authentically. Like, there's some stuff on Taboo I freestyled. Yeah, there's some stuff on Taboo I freestyled. And it came out to full songs. Like, it sounds like I wrote them, but I only wrote it in my head.
What's your favorite part about actually making music?
Having fun with the shit. Experiment like a motherfucker. Seeing what works. If I have a room, if people like, yeah, then it's a go. If people like, it's not a go.
Let's say hip hop in the future was not something you wanted to do. Is there like something else you're thinking about, like, oh, maybe I'm gonna do this instead after I become a master at making the music? Have you ever thought about that, like later in life? Is there something like you're thinking about, like, I want to do this if this doesn't, quote unquote, work out?
Already had that plan since the jump.
Can we know what it is?
It's drawing. It's comic books. I'm good at that shit. Just because I probably won't do good with rapping in the future, which will probably never happen because I'm raw as fuck. But like,
of course,
you know what I'm saying? But if just quote unquote, if that shit was to ever happen, I'm still a writer. I could write comic books, man, and make the craziest story. I'm good at storytelling. I'm really good at storytelling. I know nobody could beat me in that. No one. I don't give a fuck who you is.
Yo, so the society we live in, man, it's kind of like really structured. You go to college, you take this job, maybe you don't like, and there's a lot of people in this area, like this time, I feel like a lot of people, especially with social media, they really want to be artistic. They want to do something. They want to do YouTube. They want to make music because it's so easy, right? With one click, you can kind of like get everything you want out there in the world. And I wanted to ask you, let's say someone is conflicted. They're an artist. Their family tells them, you can't do this because it's not the secure way. You can't do this because it's not going to give you that stable income. Take this route. What kind of advice would you give a person like that who they want to express themselves creatively, but they don't know which route to take?
Man, I'm going to do it like how my dad did it. You know what I'm saying? Just make that shit. You feel me? Like, my dad was like one of my biggest supporters. Like, he was like, you know what I'm saying? As long as you're in the house and you doing your thing, do your thing. And then if it take you somewhere, but express yourself as much as possible. Like, they tell you to take this route because it's the safest route to go. But that just because you got a college education doesn't mean you're going to get a job. I watch people, look, it's the fact that in high school, I made nostalgic. I made nostalgic in high school. I left high school. My life started. No questions asked. My life started. Going on tour, like interviews, South by Southwest, everything. My life just started. Been on MTV, started. Everything just started. I watch people go to college 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. After that 4th year, back home. What you do now? At home. Where you got a job at? Post office.
It's kind of like they're stuck in life.
Yeah, and it's like, what else happened? Oh, I'm in debt now. Debt? The fuck you in debt for? Like, nigga, you just came back from college. And I was like, that's why I'm in debt. And it's just like, low key, music saved me from going to college. And like, college is not meant for everybody. Like, some of my homies got scholarships and doing their own thing with the art and all that shit. That's cool. Like, but like, people who wasn't fortunate enough to have that scholarship, you know, in debt, $12,000 that they don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are worse, like $40,000 in debt, like shit like that. Taking out loans, owing a bank, that type of stuff. They became slaves for trying to seek knowledge when you could seek knowledge without a school. There's libraries. There's free libraries that you could just go and check out a book. You could steal a book or two from a fucking library. You know what I'm saying? You could go to a college campus where you could have your friends and family. You know they could be going to dorms, like motherfuckers go to dorms, be fucking with the hoes and shit. But like, you know what I'm saying? But when you're on that campus, you could go to the library and like read a book and shit. Just chill out on campus and whatnot. Nobody's not gonna know that you're not a student. Like, it's open. You know what I mean? Like, I could go to college for free if I wanted to. Like, the world is my college. Experience is my college.
You think that in the future, like as you get bigger and maybe you kind of, become more yourself, your brand is bigger and you're kind of like settled in a way, would you ever go back to college?
I always thought about going back to college because I know college is like a money thing.
Yeah, of course.
It's definitely a money thing. So if I would put it on down payment, like, look, finna take this course. This is gonna be what I'm gonna do. I want to learn whatever I need to learn because I'm just gonna be a student. I'm forever a student, dude. I'm not a teacher. I'm not the master.
Who do you like learn from? Like who are your like role models?
De Niro Ferrara, first off.
Okay.
My father. Well, no, let me take that back. My father, first off. My mother. De Niro Ferrara, because that's a real man. I would say that's a real man that people need to like really recognize, like, because he does a lot of stuff and he taught me a lot of stuff at the same time, like, and he's just like a brother. Like, that's one of my role models. DJ Pastranaut, like, I always he's my DJ, by the way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he's always been like a disciplined person in my life. Who else? Ja, which is Run the Jewels Security. Okay. Like, he's a good role model. Who else? And that's pretty much it. But the reason why Ja's the last one, because like he's like a martial arts instructor as well. He's like good at Wing Chun, Jeet Kune Do, and I take martial arts. I do jujitsu and I do Muay Thai kickboxing like about like 5 months. But when I was younger, I used to do it a lot. I used to do it a lot before I was rapping.
Oh, okay. Do you feel like it kind of helps you with making music in a way?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Music and martial arts goes hand in hand.
How? Which way?
Creatively.
I don't know that much about it.
Creatively, it goes hand in hand. If you go to a jiu-jitsu class, like, there's ways you could you experiment with putting somebody in a lock and getting out a lock, and like putting their arm bars and triangle chokes and everything. It influences you to be creative. And same with like kickboxing. It like influence you to create crazy combinations that you would never think about creating. And then also learning different styles of martial arts, like whether it's Wing Chun, whether it's Muay Thai, whether it's karate, Taekwondo, capoeira, like Savat, Krav Maga, Jeet Kune Do, like different styles.
Do you plan on like learning all of them?
Definitely.
Is it like a hard process?
It is.
Would you say that the music is, let's say, harder to learn than the martial arts, or is it like the same?
Nah, it's down to the same shit.
It is the same shit?
You just gotta master it, bro. The more you do it, the more you master.
You like trying different things?
I like trying different things, actually.
Well, let's say in the past year, what have you like done, tried really doing outside of the music?
I tried to be a stuntman and it actually worked.
In a movie?
No, in my own music video.
Oh.
They had me hooked up to the gurney and everything.
And you didn't get hurt?
Oh, no, I fucked up my leg, but I didn't break it.
I mean, you're pretty crazy on stage, so I can imagine have you ever gotten hurt on, like, when you're performing?
No, I never broke a bone in my body.
I remember, by the way, I watched, like, an interview a couple months ago.
I fell on my head.
Yeah, you fell on the head, and, like, the dreadlocks saved your life?
Yeah, my dreads saved my life.
Do you think about, like, things like that? I mean, that's like, just imagine if the dreadlocks wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, I would.
You could have died, right?
If I would have fell head first with a low boy, yeah, I probably would have been fucked up.
Have you ever had like any other close to death experiences other than that?
Car accident. The car hit my door, caved it all the way in, and I didn't have no bones broken.
And what was this?
2014. It was me, my ex-girlfriend, and a couple friends in the back seat, including my DJ.
And nobody got hurt?
Nobody got hurt.
That's crazy, yo. Seriously.
I could have died in 2014. June 29th, 2014. I remember that day vividly. Nah, June 29th.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Has that, like, things like that, has it kind of made you, like, show more gratitude towards life?
Yeah. Definitely did.
Because, you know, as people, it's kind of like we don't appreciate what we have until we lose it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if you've been through, like, a near-death, you know, death experience, it's kind of like you realize, yo, shit, I can fucking die right now.
Yeah. I could die right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
I could
How
die.
do you, how do you just, I'm really curious on, how do you keep that positivity, man? I feel like you've been through so fucking much in your life. You've seen, like, at the age of 22, you've seen so much.
But way before 22, but I just keep that energy. I keep my energy. Nothing could, even though my physical is like people could say what they say about me. People could call me ugly. People could call me this and that and the third. People could hurt me. People could say things about me. But that's just my physical appearance, my physical nature, and how I look. You know what I'm saying? That's all physical. Like, you can't destroy me. I know you can't destroy me. Energy doesn't go away. Nobody could destroy me. Nothing. Nothing could take me out. Like, I'm that powerful. You ever heard, like, the saying when somebody said, like, if you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you could ever imagine?
Yeah.
I live by that.
I mean, I can imagine all the things you've been through kind of, like, shaped the man we have today, right?
Damn right. Good and bad.
Can you talk about the good?
The good? The good is the art. The good is, like, the art, my friends and family. Like, that's it.
They kind of, like, ground you, right?
They ground me, for sure.
Let's say, especially on tour, I mean, it's so hectic. You meet so many people. You meet fans. You're not at home. You're not, you know, as comfortable, right? Can you talk about what really just grounds you?
What grounds me? Shit.
Yeah.
Going to martial arts class and working out and goddamn recording, drawing, chilling. Just being around the people I fuck with. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And good thing I don't got no, like, fuck boy as a manager or nothing like that. Like,
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
he's a good guy right here, man.
Like him, goddamn Posh. They keep me grounded. When I be tripping, he's the nigga that's gonna tell me, nigga, you tripping. Whether if I don't want to hear it or not, he gonna tell me I'm tripping. Like Posh gonna tell me I'm tripping. Like my homegirl Kelly, she gonna tell me, like, if I'm, like, being crazy or if I'm not focused, she'll get me back on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't even have to yell at me or argue with me. She'll just be like, baby, look, like, you're slacking. You need to get this thing done. All right, cool. Reese, same way. You're slacking. You need just get it done whenever you can. That would be the ideal thing.
I see. Yo, so I'm really interested, you know, since I'm a big fan of you, I'm straight up just a fan like everybody else. And I really want to know about your upbringing and how it kind of shaped your music. Can you talk about that?
My upbringing as in music-wise or just?
Yeah, like, just kind of music-wise and how you know, make the music. Has it ever affected it in a good way?
When I was middle school, I was really into, like, Kid Cudi and shit. I was really into that stuff. I liked Kid Cudi. I liked Wale when he came out with Nike boots. I don't know why.
Okay.
I liked I liked that whole little era at that time. Wale, Kid Cudi, Lupe Fiasco, Nerd. I was into all that stuff and shit. When I got into high school, it was like, fuck all that shit. Like, a friend put it, like, somebody I knew put it into perspective. Like, first of all, Kid Cudi quit. Wale, I don't really like his music. And then, like, this is another dude saying this. And then he was like, this person, what's up with him? He came out with this album and it was bad. Like, I don't care. And then that's the shape. And I was like, fuck that. And then I started listening to Outkast a lot. And I always was listening to Outkast, like, at the house because my mom was, like, playing. And my mom's from Georgia, so
Okay.
like, I would watch their videos, and that's why my videos look crazy and look kind of trippy and shit. Because, like, I grew up as a product of them, like, looking at their shit.
Okay.
And if you see stuff like Flying Nimbus is like a spawn from Tear the Club Up from 3 6 Mafia and shit. And I used to love listening to Stay Fly and all that stuff. And then when I got into 11th grade, that's when I looked up everything from all the underground, unreleased Outkast stuff, from all the underground, unreleased UGK stuff, underground, unreleased Triple Six Mafia stuff, the Tommy Wright the Thirds, the ETO Click, who else? Just a lot of stuff, man. That was like my upbringing.
Have you gotten into some like new music recently? Anything you've been listening to recently?
It's this new guy that's about to come out that my manager put me on called Space Dolphin.
Space Dolphin.
Yeah.
Okay, is it like a rapper?
Yo, he kind of raw. I ain't gonna lie.
I gotta check him out. Maybe I'll make a video on him.
Yeah, that dude like Space Dolphin is kind of crazy, but he's not even known like that.
Okay. Do you kind of like take inspiration from the the younger guys?
Not even. I don't take inspiration from the young guys. I just like. That's the only like. It's not the only thing I listen to. I listen to a lot of old school shit. I like listening to The Weeknd. I like listening to Sade and shit.
Does that like kind of inspire your music in a way?
Does it? Well,
what do you think?
I like The Weeknd because me and him born on the same day. Like.
Oh, okay. Dope.
Yeah. So we kind of the same person. So was me and Lupe Fiasco. And I was really into Lupe Fiasco. His albums, when I was in middle school, were the first 2 albums I ever bought in my life. Like, who else? I liked Nas. I liked Illmatic. My homie had the Illmatic tape, and then he left it at his aunt's house, his uncle's house in Orlando, and it got lost. And it was just like, fuck, like Illmatic was the shit.
It's crazy how you were a fan of all these people, but now you're kind of like in the same space as them all.
Sorta, kinda.
Do you ever think about that?
Not really, no.
Or you don't?
I don't think about it. I just think about like what I'm gonna do.
I see.
Back then, I used to think about, I used to be in that, used to think like that.
Oh, I see.
Now I think like, I just want to move on to the next thing.
I see.
It doesn't matter. Like, I'm gonna give you what is worth, but I just want to move on to the next thing. When Taboo drops, I won't look back and reflect on it. Maybe like some other time, but like I won't look back at it because I want you guys to reflect on what I make.
Of course.
And then to come out with the newer stuff, and then when y'all could be like, damn, like shit,
So, musically speaking, do you think that, or what have you learned, from this past year of just going hard with Taboo? What's like one thing you have learned from, making this album?
Uncomfortability breeds growth.
Okay.
That's the main thing I learned about it. In order for me to grow, I gotta be uncomfortable as hell with everything.
Do you think that it makes your music more relatable in a way?
It makes me adapt.
In which way do you mean?
Like making it more relatable, being vulnerable, having people come at me, like actually surrendering myself to the world so it can help mankind. I'm not saying I'm Jesus or anybody, nigga. I'm just Denzel Curry, bro. Like, just a regular nigga. I'm just a regular person.
Do you like pay attention to how the culture and hip hop is shifting, and do you feel like you can maybe like take some inspiration from what some other people are doing?
I can't take inspiration from what they're doing.
Yeah.
I can take inspiration from what other people did and blend them.
Oh, in like your own way, right?
Yeah, and that's what the new artists are doing. They just take inspiration for the word they influenced by and blend them. Like if you listen to my music and people think it's like punk, but it's really a blend between 3 6 Mafia and Outkast and all that stuff I was influenced by, including rock, including like shit like Slayer and shit. Like all that is blended into one. Okay. That's why you get certain songs where I'm super lyrical, but I'm super hype at the same time, and I got super dope bars because I like New York rap
Gook
too.
is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, that was like some Eminem shit. Well, not in that sense.
Yeah,
if you listen to the second verse was solely like, it was influenced by Project Pat.
Okay.
Like if you listen, I'm a gook loose with a screw loose from the tray, dude smoking booth. Bitch, I always knew that I was a gook, but how this gook ended up surprising you? Why are you looking confused? Made a hard album, so what can you do? You know what I'm saying? That's very like Project Pat.
Okay, I see. So I want to ask you, what do you look for in a collaboration with an artist?
I look for the chemistry.
Okay.
I look for like the meetup. Like I could hear, they could be like, him and him would be fire, but it probably won't be as fire. But if I hear that chemistry on that track, that's what makes it. Like if you listen to think about International Players Ball. That chemistry between Outkast UGK and 3 6 Mafia making the beat, perfect chemistry. That was the most perfect chemistry I ever seen. Like, same with Kanye West, Lupe Fiasco, and Pharrell. Perfect chemistry. Way perfect chemistry. Kid Cudi and Kanye West, perfect chemistry. The Migos, if you look at all 3 of them, and then they do a song with Young Thug, perfect chemistry, cause they all like have like this thing that they gotta keep up, and they have like some type of relationship with each other. Even Waka Flocka and Gucci Mane had a perfect chemistry before they fell out. Like, that's what I look for the most.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that, the hip hop sleeping on Denzel Curry thing.
It's not really people sleeping on me though. It's me sleeping on myself. The reason why I say people ain't sleeping on me, because I feel like I have the confidence and the talent to do it, but it's not really the talent. It's people outworking me. That's really what it is. I've been going on tour and this and that and third, so I couldn't really work. But if I overwork what I do, then I could win. And that's why I said I wasn't going to reflect on like Taboo, like how I did Imperial. Like, I feel like when I did Imperial, I just like chilled. But that's not going to save you. The more you chill, the less work you do. The less work you do, you'll be forgotten. And once you be forgotten, you're a has-been. And when you're a has-been and you only got one hit, you're a one-hit wonder. Nobody wants to be that. But I'd rather be a one-hit wonder than a no-hit never. You know what I'm saying?
On that note, do you ever feel like making a song for the radio is like a necessary thing as an artist?
I don't give a fuck. I make songs for everything. I don't give a damn.
You feel like it's better to like let it come naturally?
Yeah, well, whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's not really me making a song for radio. It's whether radio wants to pick that shit up.
So what's your like favorite song that you've ever written?
Favorite song I ever written was This Life. Because that was the only song. That's the only song that didn't require me to yell and to actually express myself.
You were kind of like going in smooth and really just, expressing yourself in such a, I feel like, calm way compared to your other songs.
Yeah, I was very calm.
But do you think that it's like a, bad thing that people associate, Denzel with, yelling, and they have like a certain perception of...
That because they only heard Imperial. They didn't hear my other stuff. Because I was doing this shit way before. When Ultimate blew up, nigga, I already had Threats. Threats blew up before Ultimate did. That was the first thing that ever blew up from me. Threats. Then Ultimate. Then ULT. And then it's all going to be coming soon. Like, whatever is coming out next. And it's me, like, usually we'll pick what the hits are. I'm not going to pick what my hits are. I'm going to let my fans decide what it is. If there's none on it, then I got to go back in.
You have like I feel like you have like a young fan base. Mm-hmm. Kind of like see you as a role model. Do you think that it's like important for you as an artist, as Denzel Curry, to be a good role model? Do you feel like you have that responsibility?
My main thing is I gotta be the best me possible, but I also got all eyes on me, so I gotta show what's cool and what's not cool. And what people deem cool is self-destructive. It's crazy. Definitely. You ever think about that? You ever go to, like, not to be racist, but let's dig deep. You go to a community, a nice community, with like a Starbucks on the corner, a day spa, like all that stuff. You see people smiling, drinking coffee, drinking their tea, reading, cool. On the other hand, when you go to the hood, you get beat up for reading. What the fuck is that type of shit?
The shift is so crazy.
You right?
I mean, it's like they're living in different realities. Why do you think that's happening?
Because it's a tactic to keep people low, man. I feel like all that shit's a tactic, dog. In order to understand the world, you gotta understand the human body, bro. If you don't understand the human body, how you gonna understand the world?
How can like the world change then, like from things like that? What do you think about that?
I feel like everybody just need to read, because I was talking about this to my friend, like we was like talking about revolution, like what the revolution is gonna be. Usually when you think of revolution, you think of, what's the first thing you think about when you think about revolution?
Change.
Besides change, like vividly, what would you think about?
difference in people?
Like bloodshed, right?
Yeah, kind of, actually, yeah.
Yeah. But it has to, that's not a real revolution. That's just like chaos. That's just something to keep both sides from really not fucking with each other because of bloodshed.
It's like a society thing, right?
Yeah. If everybody reads, because nobody reads, nobody take the time to. White, black, nobody takes the time to read. You got certain people that take the time to read, which make them not ignorant. You could undo being a bigot. I remember an old lady saying, like, an old white lady, she was like, you can undo being a bigot. You taught hate and racism as a young person, but you could undo that by learning. You could learn to be a bigot, you could unlearn to be a bigot. So, say for instance, I'm white and I don't have no clue about you and you're black. If I read about what it is, like from your perspective or how things going on in your life, I could sympathize with you. And if you read from my perspective or how everything is us, you could sympathize with us. You know what I'm saying?
Because people are sometimes, they're not willing to go to the other side because they don't want to see the truth.
They don't want to see that shit.
Why do you think that's happening?
Because, man, you never heard of this term divide and conquer?
Divide and conquer? I've never heard about it. What is that?
Divide and conquer?
Divide and conquer.
You divide and conquer. Like, that's that's like one of the most famous terms in history. Okay. Divide and conquer is a thing. You separate, they isolate, and you conquer them. Because isolation breeds weakness. Once you're isolated, you're weak. Strength, you ever heard strength is in numbers?
Yeah, I've heard about that, of course.
You isolate yourself behind a wall, you're weak.
But I wanted to ask you about your music. Do you feel like, what direction, where do you see yourself going in 5 years from now? Do you ever think like long term like that?
Yeah, but that brings a lot of anxiety. Like long term, I feel like I'm gonna make one of the biggest impacts in the game I ever made in my life.
In which way do you think that?
Artistically, I'm gonna make a really big impact, and then I'm just gonna like let that be what it is and go venture off and do something else and make an impact over there until I just want to be comfortable. I don't want to be like, I gotta do a lot of stuff that's uncomfortable to make me comfortable.
What do you think about the longevity in music? Do you think that that's something that kind of, your music holds the quality of longevity?
Definitely.
It does?
I know it does, because I always go through new things. I always think about new things.
I really like how you never stress about projects. You never stress about just putting out something. You really take your time with each project.
Yeah. I take my time with my albums, definitely. Because like albums, I want my albums to be timeless. I want people to be like, damn, he went in on all three of those out, all of his albums.
What's the best thing about making an actual project? The favorite thing for you?
The favorite thing is when it's like finishing the transitions and making the story come together.
Oh, okay.
And then having the artwork behind it. That's what makes it.
Do you feel like you always want to put out like a positive message in your music?
Yeah.
Sometimes
I'm a positive person. I just put in dark messages so people can understand. I do it in a way that is not corny. I give like I'm really big on detail.
You kind of like want to leave that impact on people?
Yeah.
You do that like intentionally, or do you think that it comes natural to you?
It comes natural. It's a flow state.
Let's say like an artist right now. Is there anyone like specifically you want to collab with?
Andre 3000. And Kendrick. Yeah, Kendrick.
What would a Kendrick and Denzel song sound like?
Both of us trying to murder each other on one track with a hard ass hook.
Right, that competition is gonna be insane, like that friendly competition, right?
Yeah, opposition is always a good thing.
Yeah, of course. Do you think that like competition in hip hop is a good thing?
Yeah, makes the other person better. If somebody kill me, I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna learn from it, but I'm gonna make sure you never kill me on the track again.
Is that something you keep in mind while you're like making your music?
Yeah, definitely. I try to make sure nobody tries to kill me. Yeah. I don't give a fuck who you are. You could be my friend, you could be my foe. You're not gonna kill me.
So, what's one thing you can tell your fans about you that you strongly, strongly believe in?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Is it something you've been struggling with recently, or just like...
Yeah, because a lot of people wrong me, and I just be like, one day I could be like, man, fuck this nigga, fuck him. And then, like, when something happened to them, I'll be like, oh, man, dog, I wish nothing never really happened to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I try to find a balance between that. But forgiveness is one thing. Like, I got mad at a girl today, like, because she said something out of pocket. But I forgive her, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't keep grudges for long. It's not my deal. Even when I beef with you, I'm going to beef with you to set an example. Then I'm going to come back and shake your hand. If we get into a fight, I'm going to come back and let you know, like, look, it's whatever.
How do you, like, balance your life? Because your career is going up, you're getting bigger, you've been on the, freshman cover. How do you balance everything that's happening?
Scheduling, having an agenda.
You feel like the writing kind of, like, really helps you to stay exactly and be who you are at the moment?
It's a lot of things, though. I just go back to the stuff that I was doing when I was a kid that kept me happy. What keeps me happy the most?
Yeah, what does make you happy?
I mean, pretty much what I said: drawing, martial arts, and like work, like not working, but like just having fun with what I do, having fun with my music, and having fun. Because once the fun is out of it, bro, and it feels like a job. I don't like this shit no more.
Yeah, so drawing is kind of like, it helps you stay grounded. It helps you because it is your passion, and you kind of
Well, there's no passion. It's like purpose.
What does, like, putting your art always first, what does that mean to you?
Putting my art always first means like put your creativeness first. Put you first. Like, you gotta be selfish sometimes in a world that wants you to be selfless to their times. You gotta be selfish. Like, putting your creative stuff first, because you gotta get your shit out the way before you can help to somebody else. You can't build a house. You know what I'm saying? You can't build a house without no foundation. And you need to create your foundation before you build a house.
So I hope you enjoyed this interview. Denzel is a really smart guy, and I'm happy that I had the chance to sit down with him and have this talk with him. And I'm really sure that a lot of people are gonna benefit from this interview. Thank you so much to his manager Mark for making this happen, by the way. Denzel really has some great people surrounding him. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This channel is all about bringing together people like you who enjoy music and start a discussion on different topics like this. And of course, like the video if you enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at BlackySpeakz, and I'm out.